Yeet. Keep. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining me for another modern quick match. Now nothing fancy here, just what the title says, and November is going to be packed with Death Shadow matches to hold you over until the next deep dive analysis comes out. Then it'll be a month for another deck. I'll start off with a quick deck tech, which is the same one from the last modern matchup analysis video. So if you've already seen it, or you just want to get right to the gameplay, I have included a timestamp in the description below. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon, as it's a free way to support the channel. Based on metagame data, this is what the typical Death Shadow build looks like in today's world. When seeing these cards, it's important to remember that the deck does not want the game to go long, and it wants to do everything as efficiently as possible in the first few turns. Low CMCs, hyper efficiency is the name of the game here. Let's start with the namesake card Death Shadow. This deck is all about using your life total as a resource in exchange for being able to play the most power per mana spent in the format. And Shadow is the epitome of this. 1 mana for a creature that starts small and grows as the game goes on. It's not uncommon for this to be a 1 mana 10/10 after a few turns. Usually we go over the mana base last, but this deck utilizes fetch lands and shocks more aggressively than any other deck in the format, and it's a large part of the strategy. The idea is to use whatever resource possible, including lands, to get our life total under 13 to land a Shadow. We're looking at 10 fetches and 5 shocks, with a couple of basics as a necessity against Pass and Field of Ruins. In many ways, this deck mirrors traditional Jund strategies. That is, a turn 1 discard spell to make the opponent stumble, followed by a turn 2 or 3 landed threat that grows with the game and will just be bigger than theirs, and then use hyper efficient answers the rest of the way. That turn 1 discard spell of choice here is Thoughtseize, as it helps grow the Shadow and is the best discard spell in the format. Add in a couple of Inquisitions, and hitting a turn 1 discard spell is fairly consistent. Street Wraiths, Mishra Baubles, and Thought Scours provide us with more consistency through cantripping, with the Wraith doing double duty at helping out our Shadow grow. Thought Scour also has an important function in filling our graveyard because the only other real threat in the deck outside of Death Shadow is Gurmag Angler. Big Zombie Fish is a remarkable case study in just how powerful the delve mechanic is. Note to Wizards, if you print an otherwise vanilla 5/5 at common and it sees play in one of the most powerful formats in all of Magic, it's probably a sign that the mechanic on it is way too strong. This big guy does a great Shadow impression, often only costing a single black mana by himself. The truth of Modern is that a 5/5 is often just bigger than anything else the format is doing, which is why Tasigur, the Golden Fang, who used to be included in the deck, doesn't even see play anymore at 1 less power and even 1 less card to delve. So, once our threat is landed, the game plan is to interact a lot. Stubborn Denial becomes one of the best counters in the format with a threat down. Hitting creatures isn't often relevant because our landed threat is usually bigger and badder than whatever they're doing in the first 4 turns of the game. There are exceptions of course, but this becomes one of the best cards in the deck when turned on. Fatal Push, Dismembers, and a Bolt are the best at what they do for a single mana. Dismember also helps our Shadow game plan, and with Snapcasters in the mix, the fact that this deck doesn't want to go much above 3 mana in play, 1 mana removal is where we want to be. Cullen's Command is a great catch-all against problematic cards like Ensnaring Bridge and otherwise obscene artifacts in the format, and can also get our threats back in our hand, which is important because we essentially only run 8 real threats. We round out the main board with the big finisher, Temur Battle Rage. I'd argue that this is the card most opponents of Shadow decks are most afraid of. It always has to be accounted for because it is often just a one-shot that will end the game on the spot, doubling damage and trampling over any small early game blockers. So, to the sideboard. Rejections fit in nicely, as we like 1 mana answers, and this hits a variety of problems in the format like Tron, Eldrazi, Ensnaring Bridges, etc. Our Braids provide more artifact answers as well as small creature removal. Spell Snare is just great in this meta, as pretty much every deck has some amount of important 2-drops. Alpine Moon, costing 1 mana, is a big deal, and it hits against Tron and Valakut decks, with also some fringe other uses. An extra K command is great against artifact decks. Lily the Last Hope is fantastic at mowing down go-wide strategies, as chump blocking decks are actually fairly effective against us. Collective Brutality is just a burn all-star, and it's especially necessary since that matchup is one of the trickiest tightropes to walk in all of Modern. Disdainful Stroke is needed against big mana decks that are trying to do bigger and meaner things than us. Plague Engineer is one of my favorite cards from Modern Horizons, and I love that decks like this are utilizing it so much. It's a house against tribal strategies, and it's huge game against Thopter Foundry decks as well. Again, token decks can be very problematic for this deck. Finish it off with Seasoned Pyromancer. It's been getting some love as it gives us some extra game against control decks in particular. Hello everyone, we are back playing some Grixis Death Shadow and getting hands that have no lands, so I think that's an easy snap mulligan here. And this hand is fine. It is very reliant on getting a Death Shadow, but with 2 pieces of interaction, we'll probably just send this Culligan's Command back, far away from casting that. But we will keep. Our opponent also mulligan to 6, so put the K command back. Snow-covered island. Passing. Well, we have all the discard in the world. Let's first start and check out what our opponent's doing. All right, this looks very much like blue-white control. That mentor is a problem, but since we have so many discard spells, we're just going to go one after the other. Take the opt first. And since we're not in any rush, cycle Street Wraith, draw Stubborn Denial, pass the turn. We are going to need a threat, though. That is for sure. Passing. Fatal Push. Well, we do need land drops, so come on, Street Wraith. Not a land drop. Well, we will continue to rip apart the hand, but now we are in some trouble here. Force of Negation, Mentor, Snapcaster. So I think what we need to do is, now because of Force, we would have liked to just dismember the Mentor, but now we just have to take the Mentor because they can, if they draw into a blue source, then we're really just done for. So yeah, take the Monastery Mentor. So Force of Negation, Snapcaster Mage, Field of Ruin. Okay, Field of Ruin, our Blood Crypt, and we will go get a Swamp so we can continue to tear apart the hand. Still no lands. Well, we're going to keep doing what we can do. So we'll Thoughtseize. Well, we will get rid of Snapcaster. So Force of Negation, Hallowed Fountain. And now, surprisingly, we can still Angler next turn. So we just need to fade a Path to Exile. Colonnade. Okay. Angler. Well, gotta do what we gotta do. Now, we need to hope they don't draw a blue card. So when they activate, Force of Negation is not going to work on that. I appreciate the bluff, though. Pretty sweet. Alright, so now what we need to do is fade a blue spell so we can Fatal Push this Colonnade once it starts attacking. We really just need a land. That's what we want here. Hallowed Fountain. Okay, we are 13 cards deep with one land to show for it. Alright, Hallowed Fountain tapped. That means Force of Negation is being held up, so we will go to combat. We will try to Thoughtseize. Force of Negation. Okay, so one card in hand. Ops. Okay. Now the nightmare is them getting a Jace. If they get a Jace, we just don't play anything forever. Bouncing an Angler with Delve is not what we want to be looking at. Went to the bottom, which is nice. Okay, no Jace. Also, nothing doing. All right, well, 15 cards deep and one land to show for it. Alright, pass the turn. Oh, Cryptic. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yep. Alright, well, that was a good draw. Okay. Well, the good news is that they're probably going to start attacking here with this Colonnade. Shocks in Hallowed Fountain. Teferi is super annoying. Okay, now we might just lose. Oi. Alright, well, fair enough. We had all the answers, but if we just had another land. There's a land. Okay. Well, now we will pass the turn. Actually, we're not doing anything on their turn anyway. So I think we're just going to get a Steam Vents, shock it in, and just play out our Snapcaster. Okay, sure. Timely. Gain some life. I think they meant to do that once a Snapcaster hit so they could get some tokens, but whatever. I think we're still in rough shape. So I think our only hope here is if they try to bounce Snapcaster to get a card. If they get greedy like that, then we rip a Bolt, and then we can push. Yeah, here comes the Colonnade beats. All right, let's rip a Lightning Bolt. Actually, a Death Shadow wouldn't be the worst. Yeah, I think actually we just need to be able to Fatal Push a Colonnade on their turn. So they do bounce a Snapcaster. All right, so Bolt or Bust. Thought Scour. That doesn't do it, but we will play it out. Stubborn Denial. Put an Angler to the yard. Teferi ticks up. Teferi is such a mistake of a card. Like, you would play 3-mana enchantment that says your opponents can't play spells at instant speed. All right, sure. Stoneforge. He is just delaying killing us, which I'm not sure why. More Dismembers. Yikes. Well, kill Stoneforge. Let's hope this is a... it doesn't even matter if it's Cryptic, because we would be able to Stubborn Denial, except for Teferi. Yeah, Teferi is just a monster. Without being able to play at instant speed, just feels really bad. We were behind the 8 ball a lot in this game anyway, but Cryptic Command bounces the Steam Vents. Does not counter the Fatal Push for some reason. Not exactly sure what's happening here. Alright, play Steam Vents in tapped. Pass turn. Colonnade firing up to finish the job. Now there's no way to win because we can't do anything to the Colonnade at instant speed. Bolts a fairy and then a removal spell, but we didn't even get the removal spell, so there was just no way. Well, we will play our Zombie Fish for funsies. And now all they need to do is swing, get a redraw off the bauble. Well, being stuck on one land for 4 turns of the game, that was pretty rough. And here comes the beats. Well, 2 lands out of 24 is pretty amazing. But good game, blue-white. They did what they had to do. All right. Well, now we'll bring in all of the anti-blue-white stuff. All the discard, that is, and all the recursion. Seasoned Pyromancer. We'll go down some baubles. We'll go down Fatal Push or 2. We'll go down a Dismember. We will keep actually 2 Fatal Pushes just because they have the Stoneforge Mystics. So yeah, we'll just go down to Dismember. We'll go down 1-teamer Battle Rage. We'll go down a... Actually, Battle Rage is actually one of our weird ways to actually kill a Planeswalker if we have a Snapcaster down. So we might want to keep that. And then we'll go down... Oh, I accidentally brought in Rejections. That's why it seemed wrong. Okay. Rejections down and a Thought Scour down. Try like that. Okay, we would like to play first in game 2 against blue-white control. Again, no threats here. Stubborn Denials are nice, but we have to hit a land and a threat in our next couple turns, and I don't think this is set up to do that. Okay. Well, this isn't great either, but I think if we go to 5 instead, we're just in trouble. So we'll keep this. Put the Battle Rage to the bottom, and we'll try to get off to as fast a start as we can here. And we will Thoughtseize. Opt and a Stoneforge. Well, we can deal with the Stoneforge. That's great, so we'll take the Opt. Now we desperately want a fetch land. Fetch land, fetch land, fetch land. There are 9 more in the deck. Snow-covered island down. More Thoughtseizes. Well, that is one way to get there eventually. We will do what we can. Okay, well, we know the hand, all lands. So that gives us some time. They also know that we are missing land drops again. Colonnade is the draw. So still all lands in hand. Island. Our 1 of Island. So I think we're actually just going to put this Snapcaster down and go for Snapcaster beats. Sounds terrible, but that might be our way to win here. Field of Ruin. Alright, we will float a blue. Get a swamp. Play a Snapcaster Mage. Instant speed's Thoughtseize seems great. So the Thoughtseize is not going to get much better, I don't think. But maybe we just hold it up from now on. The thought is maybe we use it and see if we can hit a Jace. Or if they drew a Batterskull, something like that. Okay, well now we see the... let's do it. We'll take the life loss just for the sake of life loss. Stoneforge. Okay, well we did get a hit off of it. That was nice. Watery Grave. Alright, and they're down to 4 lands in hand again. Go to combat. Alright, now we're live to Stubborn Denial, so that's the draw we're looking for. Glacial Fortress. Okay, we're rolling. Let's see if we can rip some interaction. Delta. No. Well, we will. So let's see. I don't think we need to be super aggressive here. Let's just let them... So if we go down to 6, Shadow becomes a 7/7. And that's a 2-turn clock, whereas right now it is not. Okay, well I think what we do is we get in. Vendilion Click. Okay, well this is good. That will land, and now we get to use our Delta on it. Targeting us. Well, we will crack this. Get a Steam Vents. Pay the life. Kill the click. Click does nothing, which is great. We get in for 9. Pass the turn. Okay, 3 lands. What do they rip? Snow-covered plains. Okay, not dead yet. No concession. And K command is beautiful. Okay, well, we are going to go to combat. No cryptic. So is that a path incoming? It is. Okay, that was a good draw. No basics to get. So 2 snow-covered islands in hand. We have nothing to return, unfortunately. Now we might actually be in trouble. Let's see. That was exactly the card they had to have. Snow-covered island. And we need to rip a removal spell for this colonnade. Jace. Okay, so what we do is we pray they minus. What are the odds of that? Come on, minus the Snapcaster. Okay, so we know about the snow-covered island. Sure. Okay, that's probably going back, though. 2 cards in hand. 2 fresh ones. Well, we will make him discard 1 and go to Jace. Okay, mana leak, sure. And that was the nightmare draw. And sadly, there's just no coming back from this because Jace is just going to keep brainstorming away. Yeah, even there's really no draw we have in the deck that can get around this now. Does not get in. Okay, so that probably means they have Cryptic. Sure. Let's crack this Bloodstained Mire. Get a Blood Crypt. Thoughtseize. Can't play it, unfortunately, so we'll try to get in at Jace. Mage, that will do it. That'll be the chump block. Get back whatever. And we are just going to be dead. Good game, blue-white control. And we will scoop it up. All right, see you next time.